Street Fighter, a fighting game brand that commands respect and has been one of my favorites ever since Street Fighter 2. What's up, guys? Timzster here. I'm back, and I'd like to wish Street Fighter series producer Yoshinori Ono a happy birthday as of this recording today, August 10th. It's his birthday. But at the same time, it's sad news for those who've been following his career. For 30 years, he's been with Capcom, and he announced the night before his birthday that he is departing as series producer and from Capcom itself in the next few weeks or months. So, yeah, he's been there since the start, and actually he's the guy who arguably brought Street Fighter back from the brink with Street Fighter 4 back in 2009. He pitched the idea, he helped out in bringing it back from the abyss, and we wouldn't have seen a resurgence in fighting games if it were not for Street Fighter 4's success and coming back after over a decade's worth of hiatus since the last entry, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. So we are going to be celebrating Yoshinori Ono's career and his birthday today. So let's start by talking about the man. So the picture here that you see above is Ono-San, dressed up as Blanka with the bodysuit. He's a big Blanka fan. In fact, I have that very same Blanka toy right here. Jimmy! Jimmy is the name of Blanka, and Dan calls him Jimmy. So Ono, as many of you would know, is always a figure and a face in the Capcom Pro Tour and during Street Fighter related events. He's been at conventions, and he's had a storied rivalry with Katsuhiro Harada of Tekken fame. In fact, both of those guys played good guy and bad guy respectively. In fact, if it wasn't for Ono playing the good guy, we wouldn't have Harada-san wearing those iconic sunglasses and playing the bad guy. And the sunglasses became a signature move, which he explained in the recent Japanese fighting game developers conference, which was live streamed 2 Saturdays ago. But yeah, Ono-san and Street Fighter are synonymous with one another, and as I mentioned earlier, we wouldn't have seen the resurgence or the return of Street Fighter with Street Fighter 4 if it weren't for Ono-san. And there, we recently celebrated the 30th anniversary of Street Fighter a couple of years back, 2017. So that's why I had this 30th anniversary collection, which was a pretty good package. And I've been collecting the games, all of the games actually. I'm a big fighting game guy, and Street Fighter is one of my main games. And I'm a Ryu user, so Shotos forever. But I experiment with the other characters, and Ono-san is a fun figure. I mean, he'd even say Shoryuken to get everybody's spirits up and lifted during tournaments or announcements. And we were always excited to see those during EVO or the Capcom Pro Tour or the Capcom Cup. So it's sad that we won't be seeing Ono in the foreseeable future as a figurehead for the Capcom Pro Tour or for Street Fighter related events. But he'll still be around, I bet, working on the sides or being a fan. In fact, this was his message that he posted on Twitter and on Facebook, which I'll get to. So, let's show that message from Ono-san. So, it reads, "Dear Street Fighter series players and fighting game community members, there have been many unexpected events occurring globally in 2020, especially the COVID-19 has been significantly affecting many people's lives and health all over the world. I'm praying that all of you and your loved ones are staying safe and healthy. Since Capcom Cup in 2013, the Capcom Pro Tour has become an annual event because of the continued tremendous support from the players and fighting game community members in the world. We at Capcom had many internal discussions about the format for the CPT 2020. It took a long time for us to decide the format for this year, but we believe that conducting the event itself would repay those who have been supporting the Capcom Pro Tour regardless of what the format is. Needless to say, I understand there has been some criticism about this particular format, and there have been. However, I'm fully convinced that it is important to shed light on various hopes by keeping the event even in this way. Additionally, I'm extremely grateful that so many players and fighting game community members and its related individuals have been supporting us so that we can make the CPT happen this year. I've been with the Street Fighter brand for a long time, experiencing good times, bad times, and even non-existent times. My heart is filled with appreciation to those players who've been giving warm and kind support on the brand, especially little over the past decade or so, as all the activities on the Street Fighter brand regained sunshine and grew its liveliness. And now, after serving almost 30 years at Capcom, I am leaving the company in this summer. This means that I will resign my position as the brand manager for Capcom's various titles, including Street Fighter. And he held a couple of titles, of course, aside from managing Street Fighter. So, Capcom staff in the new generation will continue taking care of the Street Fighter brand and leading the World Warriors. And I do believe that they will continue making Street Fighter extraordinary. I will look forward to seeing the new Street Fighter brand and how it's going to be expanded as just one of the regular gamers next time around. So he won't be any more part of the production or Capcom. He'll be one of the fans. I've been trying to contact those whom I've gotten to work with in the past about my resignation. However, it's quite difficult to reach out to all of the people I've associated with throughout my career for almost 3 decades. So I'd like to humbly ask your kind understanding. When the opportunity comes, I'd like to extend warm greetings and my appreciation to those individuals and companies I've had a chance to work with. Again, to many players, FGC, and its operation staff, and all of Street Fighter fans, thank you so much for your continued support. I regret that I, as the Street Fighter series executive producer, wasn't able to do Shoryuken together with you all at each event in 2020. So please allow me to shout as my closing statement in this message to you. 3, 2, 1, Shoryuken! Street Fighter series executive producer, Yoshinori Ono. Thank you, Ono-San. And with that, happy birthday. And thank you for the memories. And I'm sure a lot of people weren't very happy with some things. Some people were happy with other things. But much like any fighting game, there are wins, losses, and draws in your record. Of course, Street Fighter Cross Tekken, I have it here, was controversial to say the least. And also Street Fighter 5. Well, I'll post the picture here. Street Fighter 5 had a rocky start. That's the truth of the matter. But what can we do? There it is. It grew. It took a couple of years, but it finally turned out to be the fighter that we expected. Albeit, it didn't pan out in its early stages. It was missing a lot of elements, and only as the post-launch content started coming out did we start to get a fully immersed game. And through many tweaks and balance changes, which left some questionable choices and a lot of confusion. All I can say is, well, it was a rocky road for Ono to walk through. So it wasn't picture perfect. And I guess that contributed to a lot of things that led to him just throwing in the towel and deciding to leave. He was burned out, or he finally called it quits and left it to the next generation. So throughout that, no matter what, we owe it to Ono-San for a return to Street Fighter and the fighting game community for that matter. I mean, without him and his contributions and his influence, and he was fun, especially with Blanka here, we wouldn't have that fighting game scene, the Capcom Pro Tour, Street Fighter 4 and 5, and yes, even Street Fighter Cross Tekken to begin with, and influencing Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and yes, even Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, even inspiring the rest of the fighting game community, Tekken, Guilty Gear, Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat also came back, and Ed Boon and Katsuhiro Harada and the rest of the fighting game community expressed their thanks for Ono-San, especially on his birthday. So again, thank you, Ono-San. Thank you for Street Fighter and your work in Capcom and everything. This is for you. Happy birthday. Okay guys, this is Timzster. Thank you for watching this video as a tribute to Ono-San. Please do follow me and subscribe to this channel. You can also see me at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and in other social networks. I'll see you guys next time. Shoryuken indeed. Shoryuken.